Is subliminal therapy frightening in that way then? If a person is not given to insight or introspection, does subliminal therapy cause a jarring experience for them?
I think if they're not open, that they won't be open to the concept of subliminal therapy and won't be able to use it. I think anyone who goes for therapy, for instance, has already opened themselves up to something in my life isn't working and I want to do whatever I can to make it better. But I've had instances where I've been in a one-on-one situation with someone and we just totally didn't connect and were resistant to one another. And this would be a long-term acquaintance, or friend, somebody at work. And I would go up later because it would bother me and say, we didn't connect, something was going on, have I offended you in some way? And the response would be, I don't know what you're talking about, everything's fine. Because they're not open to looking at something that didn't work and perhaps having to take responsibility. I think that's a key component of using subliminal therapy and therapy in general. You have to take responsibility for your life. Nobody can fix it. The therapist can help guide you to fixing it, but you have to fix your own life. And it's a big responsibility to do that.
Would you say that subliminal therapy offers a comprehensive way to not only look at problems, discover what they are, work on them, gain the insight from whatever processes are going on, centrum, for example, and then to push a person forward in their life, push a person forward past the problem in a healed way, in a perhaps more mature way?
I would never say pushed, more like lead and open the way for you to move forward, to see things in a different light. Subliminal therapy is in some ways like the magic bullet, but in other ways, you can only know what you know. So there are times when I don't have the knowledge of how to move forward and I need help. So I've identified my problem, but perhaps I need to consult with a friend or again go back and spend an hour with Dr. Yeager to work through that problem because of my limited knowledge of life in general, I would say. You can't know more than you know. And if you've never been exposed to new concepts, perhaps you're going to have a harder time moving through some of this. So I've read a lot of self-help books. Actually, I read trashy novels for fun, but there's a lot of real life that happens in those books about relationships that give insight to how to manage relationships with children, with husbands, with friends.
So you're gaining perspective from the outside and not just relying on the perspective that you might have in hidden levels of your consciousness.
Absolutely. One of my dear friend that I worked with, we would sit in meetings and she would poke me when someone did something incredibly stupid in a meeting. And I would have this opportunity to learn without actually having to have been incredibly stupid in a meeting. So a whole lot of what I know about professional behavior came through watching somebody else and having someone that was close to me that would point out, she should never have done that in a meeting. That should have been handled outside the meeting. And so I think life is like that. If you pay attention, there's a whole lot of information out in the world that you can glean with literally not having to make every mistake yourself.
And are you suggesting that in some way we store that information on a level that is not conscious, and then we can access that later when we need it to solve our own intrapersonal problems?
Absolutely. It's all there. You just have to be able to tap into it. And that's, again, what subliminal therapy allows you to do.
In other ways, subliminal therapy might help a person improve their ability to communicate with other people?
I don't know about that. It's an interesting question. I think that the more aware you are of yourself, the better communicator that you are. But are you intrinsically a person who wants to connect with other people? I don't think it's going to change your personality. You are who you are. If, on the other hand, you become aware of this particular personality trait and you choose to change it and make yourself different in some way, subliminal therapy can help you with that. But you have to identify the need, and it has to be your need, not someone else's. It can't be your husband who says, you need to change this. It's got to be, that doesn't work for me in my life. I need to change this.
Gwen, thank you so much for providing all of this insight into your use of subliminal therapy. In closing, would you like to say anything to our audience that might encourage their openness to improving their lives through the use of subliminal therapy?
Before I knew about subliminal therapy, I was not a happy person within myself, and I didn't know why, and I didn't know how to fix it or how to change it. In the process of learning subliminal therapy and using it on a daily basis, I've gained what I call my personal power. Before, it was easy to be a victim because I wasn't in touch with my feelings and what I truly wanted. And it has been so empowering and liberating for me that I don't understand why everyone doesn't use it.
Your personal power.
It's pretty exciting to find your personal power. I didn't find it till I was in my 30s. And personal power, no one can take it away from you, but you can give it away. You can let it happen. And times when I'm upset, when things I feel like I don't have control, it's because I've turned loose of my personal power.
So at those times you might turn once again to subliminal therapy, I presume in your car.
In my car, but sometimes at work. You can take, because it doesn't take a lot of time. You can take a 5-minute break, take your hands off the keyboard, and sit quietly for 5 minutes. And do a whole lot that changes your day.
That's
it's incredibly powerful.
Thank you. That's just beautifully said. I appreciate your time and your insight so much. Thank you, Gwen.
My pleasure.